If you've been scrolling through endless specs sheets, watching best laptop videos, and still feel stuck between a high-end gaming rig and a sleek business notebook, you're not alone. That moment of indecision, wondering if you'll end up with a machine that can't keep up with your design projects or one that will scream every time you launch a game, can be frustrating. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In this review, I'm going to break down the Samsung Galaxy Book 4 Business AI laptop and see if it actually bridges that gap, or if you'd be better off choosing something more specialized. First off, let's talk about the core dilemma for anyone eyeing a laptop that's supposed to handle both creative workloads and the occasional gaming session. You need raw processing power, a decent display, and enough ports to keep your peripherals happy. But you also don't want a device that overheats in a coffee shop or dies halfway through a client presentation. The Galaxy Book 4 tries to solve that with an Intel 10-core Ultra 7150U processor, 16GB of RAM, and a massive 2TB SSD. On paper, that sounds like a monster, but the real question is how it behaves when you push it for hours. Starting with performance, the i7-1335U is a newer generation useries chip that leans toward efficiency rather than raw brute force. In practice, it means you can run Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator, or even Lightworks comfortably, and you'll see smooth frame rates in games like Valorant or Fortnite at 1080p with medium settings. I ran a quick side-by-side with a traditional 15-inch gaming laptop that sports an RTX 3050, and while the Galaxy Book lagged a few FPS in graphically intensive titles, it held its own in anything that isn't GPU-bound. For a creator who needs to switch between color grading a video and answering a Zoom call, that balance is actually useful. You get enough horsepower for the professional side without the constant thermal spikes you see in dedicated gaming laptops. Heat and fan noise are where the trade-offs become noticeable. Because the Ultra 7 is a low-power chip, it doesn't generate the same heat as a Core i7-11800H, but the thin chassis still forces the cooling system to work harder under sustained load. During a 2-hour rendering session, the fans ramped up to a noticeable whir, but they never became a high-pitched whine that drowns out conversation. In a quiet office, you'll hear it, but it's not distracting. In a dimly lit bedroom gaming session, though, the fan noise becomes part of the ambient soundtrack. If you plan on marathon gaming marathons, you might feel that a bit more than someone who just needs the laptop for occasional titles. The display is where Samsung really shines. The 15.6-inch FHD anti-glare panel packs a 92% sRGB coverage, which is more than enough for most design work and gives you a vibrant, true-to-life picture when you're watching a movie after work. The anti-glare coating is a lifesaver on sunny commutes, and the 60Hz refresh rate, while not a high-refresh gaming spec, feels smooth enough for casual esports. I tested the screen under a bright office window and the colors stayed consistent, with no noticeable washout. If you're the type who edits photos on the go, you'll appreciate the color accuracy without needing a separate calibrated monitor. Connectivity is another strong point. The Galaxy Book 4 offers 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports, a full-size HDMI 2.1, a microSD card slot, and a combo audio jack. That means you can hook up a 4K external monitor for detailed UI work, connect an external GPU if you ever feel you need a performance boost, or simply plug in a wired Ethernet dongle for reliable office networking. The inclusion of a fingerprint sensor under the backlit keyboard adds a layer of security that's often missing on gaming-focused machines, which is handy for business travelers who need quick, secure logins. Battery life is a practical concern that many reviewers gloss over, but it matters when you're hopping between client sites. Samsung advertises up to 12 hours of mixed use, and in my day-to-day test emails, a couple of PowerPoint decks, a short video render, and a 30-minute gaming session, the laptop delivered around 9.5 hours before the charger was needed. That's respectable for a 15-inch machine with a 10-core CPU, but if you plan on a full day of heavy gaming or intensive 3D work without a power outlet, you'll need to carry the charger or accept a lower performance mode. Portability is where the Galaxy Book 4 feels more like a business laptop than a desktop replacement. It weighs just under 4 pounds and is only about 0.7 inches thick, so it slides easily into most backpacks. The aluminum chassis feels premium, and the backlit keyboard, while not as clicky as a mechanical gaming board, provides enough tactile feedback for long typing sessions. The fingerprint sensor doubles